Welcome back to the Haven Ridge Farm YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about and show you our chicken coop and our ramp and putting in the door and things like that. I made all the stuff beforehand, obviously, because it's on, and I have some clips and some photos that will pop up through this, but we're going to talk about how we got it, how we made it, what's wrong with it, what we like about it, what we would change, and things like that. With it, we just wanted something that worked, and we wanted it to hold about 10 to 12 chickens, and then we're going to grow from there. And I know I'll have to build a new one, and we'll kind of talk about what I would change in the next one and when we plan on doing that. So first we'll start with the material on everything here that you see. Where did it come from? Right here, with the exception of the metal hardware and the posts that are holding it up. So all the siding, the trim, the roof, the ramp, everything but black metal and the 4 posts all came, and the mesh wire in there, everything came from here. We had already had it. It was all left over from when we had our house built. The builder told me, hey, look, well, we can break this down and throw it away, but unfortunately where we bought this from doesn't offer a purchase back. So we ended up with it, and we didn't want to just destroy it, just throwing money away essentially. So we stacked it down here. It was messy, it looked bad. This whole area was just overgrown. It was trusses stacked up, bricks stacked up. It looked awful. Our first video we posted shows cleaning that up, and you can kind of get an idea for what it looked like before and how far it's come just in, a few days of actual work down here. So this is on the front door. Again, this is the first thing I ever built. It is not perfect, and I know it ain't, but it closes up fine. It has space for air, but not really anything other than maybe like a black snake or something like that to get in. But as far as raccoons, possums, anything like that, foxes, coyotes, there's no way for them to get in here. The only thing we'd have to battle is a black snake, or any snake that wants to get in. But these are just basic bolt latches. I only have 3 screws in them on purpose. This is just a little 1x4 that me and my dad had used to frame up some concrete when we poured a sidewalk in a little patio area next to our house, and they were left over covered in concrete, and again didn't want to just throw them away, so we kept them. So that's where most of all of our trim came, and I didn't want to splinter it up by putting these these screws were thick, and I didn't want to splinter it up too bad. I wanted it to stay sturdy and no more than what it's doing. 3 was plenty. So the idea is that you just twist it, turn it, and then you can lay it on there, and then once you pull it, it'll just fall out. And that's kind of what we were going for there. It worked out, and plenty big enough. I forget how wide I made this. I want to say I made it 3 feet or so, but plenty big enough to get in there, clean it out, do what we need to there, putting in water, feed, anything like that. And also if we have to crawl in there for whatever reason, we want to put a camera in there, so we'll be crawling in to do that. And then if we ever have to put heat lamps or anything like that, that'll be easy access for that. So this is the back side of it, and the side that shows our actual door and our ramp. But I want to show the nesting boxes. These pieces of metal here, little brackets, and the pieces up top, those came as a combo set with what I just showed you on the front side. So I bought like 7 or 8 packs of them, knowing I wouldn't use all of them, but they really weren't too expensive, so I just wanted to get them. And then we just had these bungee cords. So again, it ain't perfect. You can see the metal on there from where it was a truss, and I used a Sawzall and sawed through all of it. I used roofing screws on this because I had a big bag of them, and I was like, oh, they're closed up, it'll work. There's still a gap there for air, but it keeps it really dark, keeps it calm. There's no way anything can get in there but a bug, and it's a chicken coop. It ain't the Taj Mahal or nothing. So built the doors and used some simple chains. Bought a box that had like a 50-foot chain or 25-foot chain in there from Home Depot, put on there, and I'll show you what it looks like opened. So there it is open. It's hard to show me opening it with one hand and one camera, but you get the idea. The bungee cord height, I literally put the bungee cord up there, brought it up, and that's how I placed where the bracket would go. That way it doesn't go way up too high and nobody can reach it other than me. So it stays elevated right there. When you close it, it has plenty enough tension to keep it pulled. We've had tons of rainstorms come in since I put these in, and there's been zero moisture get in this thing, which I'm very happy with. Even when it rains completely sideways, some little bit will show up on the front side under the vented windows that I put up top, but very little. I hung the roof over a little bit, and it comes quite a bit off the back side here, and it works well. So this is the right side of the nesting boxes. It's one door covers up two of them. We have a total of four. But that kind of shows what I was trying to avoid on the front side. And you see how that screw splintered through there. It's not as important on this, and it does fine because it digs down in that 2x4 enough to grab plenty of meat to actually have some strength to it. But that's kind of show what I was trying to avoid. But this is the backside looking in. The four of them, I try to keep them all about a foot wide and a foot tall. They're all a foot tall. And then I think they're kind of like 10.5 inches wide or so, but I think it's plenty. We're going to put some metal or plastic little trays in there to where when you come out, you can just pull the tray out from inside, lay it on here, and that's how you'll get your eggs. And I put it at a height to where we can see in there easy if we're trying to open it and, you know, there's a hen in there trying to get feisty with us or whatever, wants to catch hands, we can see them coming before they see us, kind of thing, and we can peek down in there if that becomes a problem with one of the hens. But yeah, very simple. 2 chains screwed in on the side, screwed it up top, screwed it on the bottom. When you go to close it, it just goes up there and kind of falls perfect. You can see the chain kind of gets caught in there, but with 2 hands or 1 hand, you just kind of move it and it cleans up. And then I'll brace my arm up here, and you just pull it down and hook it up, and it keeps it pulled. You don't have to yank the thing really hard or anything like that, and you pull on it, it comes down, but you know, it's got plenty of tension to keep anything out. And if it fails, you know, buy another bungee cord. Pretty cheap, inexpensive, easy to get your hands on. We have many of them laying around the shop for whatever reason, so nothing hard to get. The hinges on the bottom of this thing kind of show, you know, how I built it. Again, nothing crazy, but it'll work. It's strong. Just normal door hinges. Again, bought packs of them from Home Depot and put them to work. I ended up with 3 or 4 left over. I think I got like 10 of them just to be safe. But yeah, they work well, and they hold it up, runs smooth, opens, closed smooth. I'm sure with season changes and stuff, it might get a little catchier stuff at time as age goes on and it rusts, but nothing a little WD-40 can't handle. I ended up putting 2 windows on here, one on the front, one on the right side where the door is. No particular reason. That might end up being a problem and might not. I don't know why it would matter, but we'll learn as we go. But I just use hardware cloth. Everything I saw said chicken wire isn't going to be good enough, so I put it in there, used some actual staples and hammered them in, and it held up really well. And I'm happy with these. They actually, I mean, you know, they're not absolute perfect, but they're pretty square. I mean, if you look on the far right, far left, you can see they're off by like half of a section, but not that bad for a guy that's never built anything. So I was happy with those. I think they'll let in plenty of air, especially with the gaps in the floors around the edges that I still have. I think that's going to be plenty of ventilation. I said in the previous video, we're going to act like that was on purpose. It was not. I don't know how to build anything. I could have put a trim piece down there and tightened it all up, but we're going to leave it for ventilation. And there's where we put our hole in for the ramp, and actually a good view of the ramp. So our door is on a timer. It uses 3 AA batteries. We didn't get a solar one or nothing. We might in the future, but we've had one of these before where we lived before we built this house, and it worked fine. We ordered it off of Tractor Supply website, got it delivered to the store, hatching time, and very easy. Tells you right there on the screen how to set the time and everything. We've come out and checked it. It's opening and closing like it's supposed to. It was very easy to set up. I placed it up against the wall, traced it out with a pencil, used the circular saw, pushed it into the siding, cut it out, and it worked out great. There's a gap on the bottom, but we're going to call that on me. But I think it's going to work good. It opens and closes. The advertisement on the box for this one is that it won't catch a chicken outside or close on a chicken, and that it's big enough for all breeds of chicken. So that's kind of why we got it, was we want some big old healthy laying hens. Which brings us to our next thing, and the reason why it's the way it is, and that is our ramp. So I made the ramp 12 feet long, which when I first was ChatGPTing and trying to figure out how long the ramp needed to be, I was like, that's insane. It does not need to be that long. I mean, we've had chickens before. Well, when I was a kid, we had chickens that didn't even have a chicken coop. They laid up in the trees and we would find their eggs scattered throughout. And then when we actually had chickens that we kept up and gathered their eggs before, they had a chicken coop, but they'd have to jump 2, 3 feet, 4 feet to get up to the laying boxes, and it was never a problem. But I was like, you know what? We're going to make this long term. We want to be good to our chickens. We can't call our farm Haven Ridge Farm and it not be a nice place for the birds to live. So we made it extra long for the little fatties to be able to go up and down the ramp easy. As they get older in age, we don't want them to have a hard time climbing or getting down. So that's the reason why it's so long, is so it's a easier gradual climb rather than a 6-footer and it's pretty much vertical. So what the ramp is made out of is one of the, I think it was a 16-foot piece of the 2x6 that was left over from our house. And I cut it at 12 foot, squared it off. And then we have all these little tiny pine trees everywhere. And we just sawed them 1 foot wide all the way up to the top. And it works. I just would cut one off a tree and use it as a template for the rest. And I'm actually pretty happy with it. I mean, they're not all dead even or dead straight, but it maintains good enough width all the way up for chickens, I think. And it's plenty strong. My daughter, who she's about to turn 2, and I think she was 25, 30 pounds, something like that. And she went up it with me holding her hand, walked up it with her full weight. So if it can handle a toddler, almost 2-year-old, it can handle a chicken. I believe so. So happy with it. It turned out great. I like the way it looked too. But also the reason why I went with it is, one, it was free. It cost me nothing. It was right there. It cost me a quarter of a tank of gas in the chainsaw. But I like how it's different sizes. So when most people have their chicken ramps, you see they have slats and stuff in there and little boards for grip and everything like that. This thing's got natural bark. It's a natural tree. It was cut right here. Nothing put on it. Nothing, for protected against the weather or anything like that. In time, we might have to replace some years down the road, but that's perfectly fine with us. And it's just got the bark. It's got grip to it. I knocked anything real sharp off, but it's just got some meat to it. And they're different sizes, so it's going to have different grooves in it naturally. The chickens will be able to climb it any time of year and not have to worry with it. If it's wet, it won't matter. If it's cold, it won't matter. Hot, anything, it just won't matter. So I think it works really well for what we're doing, for what it cost. Those were pieces of the trees underneath there. I didn't drill those in. I just kind of wedged them just to take the bounce out. I wasn't trying to lift it up with it, but just take the bounce out from me pushing it with my hand. I doubt a chicken would ever be able to make it do it, but just to make it look a little stronger to the human eye. But yeah, I think it's going to work good. I think there's going to be benefits to it. Them being able to grip it, being able to climb it, nothing pressure treated, no chemicals out here, nothing like that. Not that we're like huge on any of that stuff, but why not? And it looks cool. And it's something that I built, out of what we had here. So on the inside here, to kind of show it, and there's the last little pieces of it. There's the inside of the laying boxes that I built. I just used what I had, pieces of the one befores, pieces of the siding and flooring left over, pieces of 2x4, whatever it was. I made it strong. I framed it out of 2x4, so the actual boxes itself is very strong. And then I just used whatever for dividers in the floor. And then it closes up quite well with the door that I already showed you on the back. The reason why the posts are different is because initially I was planning on just using them as legs. So I bought the 2 8-footers. I was going to saw them in half and have the 4-foot legs because I'm taller and I wanted the whole coop to be a little bit elevated to where getting the eggs out of the nesting boxes wouldn't be that much of a chore and they wouldn't be super low to the ground or anything like that, which we'll talk about here in a second on things that I would change. But that's why we have 2 different ones. The front ones are from Home Depot. The back ones are from a Rough Cut Lumber. A local farmer had them that we bought off of. And they're all 4 pressure treated. Of course, the ones from Home Depot look different, but they're all 4 pressure treated. They're 6x6s. overkill on the post. Didn't have to be that at all, but I wanted it to be stout, and we just went with it and got them that way. And that's why they are what they are. And that's why we had to have two different kinds, is because we ended up running them all the way up instead of having, you know, just using them as legs. That's the Home Depot ones right there. That's the rough cut lumber ones. Another thing is we use the pine trees for they're gonna use as the roost. Very simple. If we need to move these because the location's next to the windows or it's too close to the door, whatever problems we find with them, if we find any, and I know we'll find things that we don't like about this, and we already have, but you know, very easy to move. I can saw these, I can get more. It didn't cost anything. There's 4 screws, 1 in each end of it, and there's 2 of them. So it was very easy, cost effective, and it works. It doesn't have to be anything high dollar. It doesn't have to be any fresh cut, you know, straight cut timber or lumber or anything like that. It can be just a small pine tree or branches or whatever you got laying around. So now, kind of things that I like about it is how strong it is, and it cost me relatively nothing. I built this whole thing for a quarter of the price of what it would cost to go get anything relatively close to the same size as square footage from Tractor Supply or anything like that. I bought 4 posts, the rough cuts. I got a good deal on it because it was a local guy. The 2 from Home Depot cost, I don't remember what. The brackets and the hinges and the handles and stuff cost me money, but everything outside of that was laying here. Oh, and I had to buy screws, but everything else was laying here, just rotting away on the bottom of the pile. So I used everything on the top part of the pile that didn't have any signs of rot or anything, and it's been stout. I mean, this thing, I built it probably middle January or so is when I finished it up. I started it like first week of January. I finished it like third week of January, working on it when I'd get home from work and stuff, and I'm happy with it. It was free. It cost me nothing. It's very strong. We've had a lot of thunderstorms come through. It's had no issues with leaking, moving, anything like that. It's heavy, but not too heavy. I can still move it with the tractors. Y'all have seen in previous videos. If not, go watch them. But it's just nice. It's convenient. It was free. It cost me nothing. It's mine. I built it. Are there things wrong with it? Yes, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. So things I don't like about it, and it just comes down to my skill and what I know how to do, is back here you can kind of see I tried to cut out around the roof part right there to where it would have a nice clean seal on it. I didn't want it to be anything. I didn't want snakes to be able to get in there, was something I was thinking about. But I messed it up. It was hard to do, and it ended up with a gap anyways. And then over here on the side, I just didn't even try. So for the future, I would spend a little bit more time on the siding, measuring out and trying to cut around it. And I would do it different when I build my roof to make it where it isn't as much of a hassle. I would probably finish the siding and everything and then build my roof around that, rather than trying to put this piece on top with the metal and everything and then do the siding after it, which is what I did. So I'd probably change up the order I did things a little bit and spend a little bit more time trying to get it right. And if I couldn't get it, you know, maybe make a phone call to somebody. So a couple things I would change, and I plan on changing the next one, is I would make it shorter so I don't have to have such a long ramp, and I would raise the nesting boxes. So I put those down there for convenience, easy to see into, easy to get to, easy to get the eggs, without thinking, hey, you can just frame this higher up on the wall. Everything I've seen talks about, especially Lunatic Farmer, that's something I watch a lot. He talks about how if it's easy for the chickens to come in and out of, you're gonna have dirty eggs, mess with eggs, they're gonna get broken, they're gonna try to lay on them, things like that. You can eliminate some of it, never all of it, they're chickens, but you can eliminate some of that by raising it up. So I would raise that up, lower the whole chicken coop down. I would make it bigger. I would want one that could hold 20 to 30 birds, which honestly, I probably wouldn't even do this style of a chicken coop, a raised one. I'd probably just do one I could walk in and, you know, and do something like that on the next one, because we really do want this farm to grow and we want to sell a lot of eggs. And we know we're not going to sell a lot of eggs with 10 chickens, but it's our start. We have to start somewhere. We are going to try to sell as many as we can off of the 10. And then one day we would like to have 100, 200 of them. And we know that might take multiple coops and things like that. But that's kind of where we're thinking long term. This worked. It was free. It cost nothing but a little bit of time. It was a great thing for me to learn how to do on. You know, it was a great beginner project for me. It was a great investment into the farm, and it just works. And I think it's going to work well. I'm not trying to down on it a whole lot, but yeah, I would change some things. I would lower it, raise the nesting boxes, shorten the ramp, and spend more time on the siding and stuff like that. I would also think about, what do we plan on doing on the inside, rather than building the coop based off of square footage only and then trying to figure out, okay, where do I put the door? Where do I put the windows? Where do I put the roost and this and that? I would draw out and plan, where do those things need to go? What's going to work well with the chickens and the function, and you know, what's going to be the most efficient, and then build around that, rather than build a coop and then try to make it work. You know, I would get something, design something that I think would work off of experience, and then build it that way. So that kind of wraps that one up. I appreciate if you come and seen this, and like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Please come back. If I popped up in your algorithm and you don't know me, please hang out. I don't know how that happened, but that's awesome. If you're someone I do know and you bring these videos up to me and you mention my YouTube and stuff like that, just know I really do appreciate it. I had a guy at work ask me, his wife, Anley, asked him about the videos, and it was really cool to know, like, oh, okay, people actually watch these. So to keep from rambling, I'm going to cut it short here, but that's the end of the chicken coop video. Is it perfect? No. Is it going to work? Absolutely. Was it affordable? Absolutely. Was it good first time project? Absolutely. Could I have done better? Again, absolutely. So we are happy with it. It is going to work. It is cool. I can tell my kids have built something, and I'll try to be involved in building the future ones. But if I'm not, at least I can say, hey, I did build that one. And in the future, again, we may change up styles completely, because we just want to keep growing. But I appreciate anybody who sees this. Let me know you've seen it, and we're going to keep trucking along. I appreciate y'all.